Good day. Welcome to our little ball of mud. This is Sat Khalsa and our guest, David Fraijo.
Fraijo. Yes.
Fraijo.
Yeah.
Want to welcome you once again. And our show is about reminding each person that sees this show that you're sitting on a little ball of mud in the middle of space in a miracle. And we beg everybody to take a moment, stop, look at your feet and where you are, and feel just a moment of gratitude for being part of this incredible miracle. And David, I'm so glad to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you.
You got a story. I know that there's one aspect of your story that talks about pioneers from long ago. I mean, I came to Arizona in 1948 when everything was dirt and groves and
Right. Yeah.
farms. How about you?
Well, I'm a native of Arizona. My mom's side, we're a territorial family. My dad's side, my grandfather, well, both grandfathers came from Mexico. I had history in Jerome. My dad's dad, my grandfather, was a machinist there, and
For the mines.
for the mine, and he actually worked on one of the engines that they moved from from Jerome to Superior. He worked on there. He ended up dying of alcoholism there. And that, oddly enough, last night the movie was on, How the West Will Win, the original, and my grandfather actually worked on the train that was on the last scene.
Oh, the West was one.
Yeah, and that engine's out there in McCormick Ranch Park right now.
Wow.
So that's the type of history I've got. Historical history I've got. I also have history in the swimming pool deck business. My dad was one of the first installers of traditional pool decking, and my introduction to being in business for myself is when I got fired from my dad's company. Okay, so, and I specialized in repair and restoration, so I would fix older decks. I got out of pouring concrete, and I did that until the pandemic decided it was done, and so I ended up having to close my company up, and it really turned out to be a blessing in a way. So that and the other history I have is my acknowledgement that I'm a miracle too. Even from the background that I came from, highly dysfunctional family, lots of trauma. The loudness was really scary, but the silence was just as scary. So that was very difficult for me to learn how to meditate and get quiet, because my body's all primed up for something bad to happen after the silence over. As I stated before, I've been sober for, I don't even know, 42 years, 36, 35 years, as long as John. Whatever.
Okay.
But my recovery from depression I think is my greatest achievement.
Isn't it a great gift to have that finished?
Well, it's an ongoing process. I don't know if it'll ever be finished.
Right, I know, but the debilitating parts of
Oh
it.
my God, yeah. I mean, I get taste of it every once in a while, but it's just a taste. It's just, oh no, I'm so when people ask me what's my greatest achievement, they think it might be not using, it's the depression. And they said, well, what's the one thing that you can think of that you did or didn't do that helped you? The one thing that I can think of that was fairly consistent was not killing myself.
With thoughts.
Yeah, lots of thoughts for decades. I've been clean and sober 35 years. 20 of those years I seriously considered not being here, but then I realized, given the concept of emotional detox and redefining everything I thought I knew, I'm redefining me too. And so in doing that, I recognized any time I had killed myself before this moment, in the 35 years or the 68 years I've been alive, I would have been murdering the wrong identity. I'd been killing the identity that was created by somebody else that I accepted as my own. And so that's probably the best thing I haven't done yet. Okay. So, yeah, it's been very interesting. And apparently I started a men's group here that turned into a healing circle.
Nice.
And all of these guys were...
Still going on?
Yeah, but it's on Zoom now. But yeah, it's still going on. And when things get, it's been almost 2 years now. We haven't had people over, and it's been kind of cool not to have people over. And we're downsizing quite a bit, and stuff to make it a place of retirement, a place, where I want to die here, So, and my achievement of not concentrating on being happy so much as just or praying or having insight about wanting things. But I just realized all I've ever wanted was just peace and calm. And when I can achieve peace and calm, then everything else just kind of falls into place. So that's kind of where I'm at with a lot of things. Self-identified with the business, I guess I wasn't, because it was pretty easy to let it go. I've been doing it my entire life. It was a separation from my dad's company, and I know that I got into it to try to get acknowledgement from him. Most of us go do things to try to please our parents.
And then you're on a different path.
Totally different. So,
yeah.
And I didn't realize the power that each one of us individually has. That's a blessing or a curse. But I tend to have attracted some really cool people in my life, and most of us in our little pod or tribe or herd or whatever you want to call it are very diligent in their recovery and their healing and stuff. I did 12-step for a while, and then I kind of backed away from that. I think it's an incredible place to start, but it's a pretty easy place for me anyways. I'm not talking about anybody else to get stuck. I just don't want to spend the rest of my life owning the fact that I was a disease. And I realized early on that, when I saw that 12-step stuff and it said we're powerless over blank and our lives have become unmanageable, I said, I'm spending $20,000 for them to tell me that. Okay. But the powerless thing was intriguing to me because there's certain words that get said and then I react to those words. And powerlessness was interesting because I don't think any of us are powerless. I think we learn how to give it away. And most of us give it away because of trauma. So we're trying to learn how to survive. And it worked. I'm still here.
We became very skillful at.
Oh my God, yeah. And so those techniques about letting those go. So the self-identification part's big for me. So people would ask me, well, why do you think people relapse? Well, first of all, I don't know, but I can speculate. I think a big percentage of them unconsciously are terrified of letting go of the only identity they've always had. And that's terrifying. So I'm in treatment, and one of the guys comes in and talks to the group, the new people, and I was one of the new people. And he said something, and it just rang my bell. Because I think he was saying this in order to be encouraging. He said, but you're not the person you were when you were using, and you're not the person now that you're capable of being. And I'm assuming that he thought that was warm and fuzzy, but I had this electric charge go through my entire body, and I realized I had no frickin' idea who I was, and I didn't want to know.
That's what this is about.
That's what that's about.
Know why you're here, or you're just paying bills.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I'm here to mess with people, and without intent. One of the things that I did with my family of origin was I didn't do this with intent, but I messed up their drinking too. And I didn't realize how much of this had nothing to do with alcohol or drugs or gambling or whatever the different symptoms of addiction is. It's all about trying to learn how to survive the best that we possibly can, and the incredible ways that children create ways to survive. So when I got out, my intent was, I realized how emotionally and mentally immature I was, and I just wanted to grow up. And that's been my journey.
What were we saying about we learned how to be the clown? Maggie, we were talking about that yesterday.
You learn how to, well, I became a comedian.
Comedian, well, same.
To just kind of get that tension,
Yep.
that
Yeah.
ugly.
Yeah. Yeah, when I first...
That atmosphere to,
Mhm.
you know, to take away the angst and the fear and the...
Well, that's interesting. It's interesting that you brought that up, because I realized that grade school was a substance for me. Because it was 8 hours of not having to deal with whatever was going on at home. And when I turned the corner, because I walked to school, it's right down the street from here, I would remember, oh, shit, you know, what happened last night and what's probably going to happen again tonight. So school was really positive, and, you know, then when I...
And
in
your
high school,
friends were just like amazing for you.
well, you know, back when this all started, all my friends were just representations of people from my family. All the people that I met in 12 steps, the one thing that was different is, at least for an hour, everybody was supposed to be sober. Other than that, some of them that I was attracted to were just as toxic as the people that I hung out with. And they're, again, in this conversation, they don't know who John is, our friend John, but that was what the blessing of John was. I didn't know that John was studying Buddhism and stuff in grade school, so he kicked my ass with love. You know, I'm going to kick your ass. He said, okay, and it just destroyed me. I didn't know what to do with that, you know. And we've been friends ever since. And in the deepest parts of my depression, he would show up and he'd walk my butt up the mountain and stuff like that. And his timing was really always good, you know. So, and I've met a lot of people like that. And so my family of choice when I first started in recovery was really huge, and I glorified the hell out of it. And then I let myself get taken advantage of, just like I did with my wife and my kids and everything else. So that concentrated, and now 35 or however many years it's been, I got a really choice group of tribe going on, man. It's just outstanding, you know. It's just, it moves me to realize the people that I've attracted to my life. And I honor the people that have had to move on, or I have had to move on, you know. So, no, I feel, it's different saying the words and then experiencing them emotionally. And I'm getting to a spot where I can genuinely experience joy and gratitude. Not just the words, but actually experience it, you know, feel it. And
Beautiful. You even brought a tear.
it's everywhere, man.
Did you see Jeff while he was here?
Jeff?
John's friend Jeff?
No. No. I know John's got 10,000 friends.
I know.
I didn't really hang out too much with him, you know, when I got clean. I didn't, I was trying to salvage my marriage, and, you know, I went into treatment not to stop drinking. I went into treatment to try to salvage my marriage. And all the dynamics changed when I decided to stop. So we ended up getting divorced 13 years later.
Okay, we're back again. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's interesting.
Well, it ain't NBC, that's for sure.
That might be a good thing, a real good thing.
So my question to David was what words of wisdom he has for you folks out there watching this, and so let me ask that of you again.
Okay. Well, I don't remember what I said last time, so.
Good.
I guess it's cliche now, but just, you know, we are more powerful than we give ourselves credit for. We've learned how to give our power away rather than being powerless. We've learned how to give it away, sometimes to survive. I hope that they can find a level of peace and calm in their life. And if they don't, they're teachers for others. how not to do things.
Right.
You know, so
That's true. That's true. But the hope is there that whatever you're doing is on a path of peace, serenity, and power, and taking responsibility for our mistakes. And
well, you know, part of this path for me is to gain resolution. Okay, so that is my process, and that's the process I'm hoping that people will engage in, is to try to gain resolution. And we'll never get there. I think complete and total resolution is that moment when we decide, okay, it's time to leave. And in that moment, there's peace, there's calm, and I don't know that for sure. I'm just speculating too because of what other people
you
have
mean
shared.
leaving as
The
in
planet, dying. I think that's that moment of complete total resolution. I'm hoping on my journey that to get from where I'm at now to get to that spot is cool. You know, I don't know what it's going to be like. It'd be nice. My daughter, I mentioned, died 4 years ago, and people would say, "Oh, you know, she died in her sleep and all that kind of stuff." But I don't know what she was thinking before she passed. You know, she could have been really pissed off. You know, I don't know. So we say things to try to make ourselves feel better, or we say things and do things to not feel. And I think it's important to feel and not judge it and not analyze it. I think there's a difference between talking about things and talking through them. There's so many of us that talk about the same thing over and over and over and over and over and just recreate it over and over and over, the emotional side to it. Talking through it is this. I had a moment where I had a feeling, and I talked through that feeling, as opposed to telling you about the feeling and where it came from, how it came about. And the other thing, it's all about energy. Where are we disposing energy about looking and doing things that don't matter? That just flat ass don't matter. But we have this intensity to try to make it matter, and it's destroying us. Individually and as you know, I don't know what it's doing globally, I don't know. My responsibility is this. That's all I can take care of this. The energy that I resonate is going to affect people. Now, whether that affects them the way I would like it to, and why not? You know, my sons are gone, you know. But to keep on the path and find the support that you need to do the changes, to redefine who you are, redefine the emotions that you experience, and move into a more resolution and live a life in peace and calm. We don't realize how wealthy we are here. You know?
I know.
They don't realize how wealthy we are.
Just travel into a third world country and try to understand.
And that's only a couple miles away.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So.
Emotional detox. David Fraijo. Fraijo.
Fraijo.
Fraijo. I did it right.
Yeah.
Okay. Recommend this book for you. And this is not just about recovery, but it's about accepting that there is hope. So, emotional detox. David, it's been wonderful to talk with you, and I wanted to present to you your own Our Little Ball of Mud shirt.
Cool.
There you go.
Thank
Signed
you.
it. Signed down here, love, sought, and the year.
Sweet. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you. Let's.
Now, when you wash this puppy, do it inside out.
Okay.
Okay, in cool water,
Yeah.
not hot.
Right.
Yeah,
Don't put it in the dryer.
Okay. Cool. Let's sit down.
yeah.
There we go. Nice.
All right, sir.
Thank you so much.
That's all it takes.
That's it. One step at a time.
All right. Thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next show.